All right, we are going to be talking about the United States today. Wonderful. We are where we have left off in our saga known as World War II. Hitler has been unable to be successful in the Battle of Britain. He's turned his eyes kind of to the east. He called off the non-aggression pact with Soviets and has charged into the east to try to attack Moscow. This is not going so well. This is known as Operation Barbarossa. And in North Africa, the Italians are kind of getting cut off. They're trying to take the Suez Canal, but Germany and Erwin Rommel are going down there to help out. That's our 38-second summary of where we are at. So we're going to talk about the United States and kind of how the United States gets into the war. We're going to start talking about in the Atlantic, and there's a couple of very famous, very important things that occurred that we got to talk about. So first of all, in 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, convinced Congress to allow allies, as in allied powers, to buy American weapons. And so initially at the beginning of the war, America was about being isolationist, was about keeping to themselves. They had just had a war, again, within the last 20 years or so, that had caused massive death and over in Europe, and it's like, all right, well, we don't want to send our boys over there once again. This is known famously as the Lend-Lease Act, and what it basically says is that the United States can lend, so lend meaning that we'll get them back, or lease, kind of same thing, like you lease a car, arms and supplies to any country important to the United States. What's critical about this is obviously if you're sending tanks, going to get those back all the time? No. Duh, right? If you're sending trucks to the military or ships or whatever it might be, or guns, you're not necessarily going to get them back. So lend-lease is a little bit of a questionable idea. We're giving them the guns. All right? And so this led to something called the Atlantic Charter, which was an agreement between Britain and the United States that said we have the right to trade with each other. That was important because what are they trading? Guns and weapons. So to make a statement that we are allowed to trade with each other, when you look at that compared to Germany, what is that saying? It's saying the United States is going to assist Great Britain in this war. We are committing to that. This kind of puts everybody on a little bit of a collision course. So the effect is that the United States shipped war supplies to Great Britain, well, we can just say Britain, and the USSR. That's the effect. And so, obviously, Germany is not stupid. They realized that the United States was helping, all right, the Allies, even though it wasn't technically in the war. These supplies were critical to Britain's war effort. They are an island nation. They need to import things. They don't have unlimited factories. So many of their factories are under German bombs at this point, getting blown up. They need to have things be imported in terms of being able to keep this war effort going. And without the United States coming in and importing and helping with some of these things, Britain is going to have a lot of trouble continuing its war effort. There's no possible way they can produce all of the things that they need to keep up with Nazi Germany at this point without some help from people like the United States. And so, again, because Hitler is not, the Germans are not stupid, they order their submarines, these are known as U-boats, to sink any cargo ship, even if it's under an American flag, without warning. So you would have a cargo ship going across the Atlantic, and a U-boat would blow up the cargo ship because, well, realistically, what are they carrying? They're carrying guns and ammunition to be used to kill German soldiers. So it's not that much of a stretch in one sense, but in another sense, there's ships that are not at war flying under flags, of countries that are not at war. So in September 1941, a U-boat fired on an American destroyer. So FDR ordered that any U-boat be sunk. So if an American destroyer sees a U-boat, it's because you guys are shooting our cargo ships, we're going to shoot at you. So even though we are not at war, well, now there's these orders from both sides to attack each other's ships. It certainly looks like we're kind of getting close, or we're kind of flirting with going to war. The competition for control of seas, this is known as the Battle of the Atlantic. The Atlantic. And so we will see the United States in a moment. See what happens. We're going to turn. And so that's kind of where we're going to leave the Atlantic right now. The Lend-Lease program is very important. Basically, it's the United States taking the side of the Allies without actually 100% getting into